YouTubers, this is TG Graphics here with another deck profile. This one is on my Ghostricks. I've been loving this deck for so long now because I've always liked decks that messes with your opponent. And that's exactly what this deck does. It is a troll deck from all hell. Plus, it's able to actually wreck your opponent. I mean, a lot of troll decks, they're just based on, you know, just messing with your opponent. And some of them are anti-meta, some of them are whatever. But this deck at least can still wreck your opponent in the process of pissing your opponent off. And that's why I like this deck so much, because it's so hard to get around. And I mean, there's ways to do it, but it's so difficult. So let's get right into it. It's a 40-card main deck and only a 4-card extra deck, because you really don't need them in this deck. So let's get right to it. For the monsters, I run 3 Jack Frosts. The reason why I run this is because he is one of my main cards I love grabbing, because whenever your opponent decides to attack directly, you can special summon this in defense position, face down defense, and negate the attack. So it's very, very helpful. Another one I run is 3 Ghostrick Mary. I love her because if your opponent does damage to you, does direct damage to you, you can discard her and special summon any Ghostrick monster from your deck and defense face down defense position. So you can get your combos off pretty quick with her. Anytime your opponent's monster or your one of your monsters are destroyed by battle or card effects, you can special summon Ghostrick Spectre and face down defense position and draw cards. So that's another reason why I like this card. For your main cards to be able to get, for the main card to be able to grab your monsters is Ghostrick Yangshi. The reason why I like this card so much is because whenever you get her on the field, if it's attacked, you can flip it, effect goes off. Also, during your turn, you can flip him, and depending on how many Ghostricks you have on the field, you're able to grab that many monsters equal to the level. Or that's how many, depending on how many you have, that's how many, which monsters you can grab with that level. So it's very, very helpful. To grab your spells and traps, you got Ghostrick Stein. The reason why I run this is because you're able to grab a lot of the Ghostrick cards from your deck. And the only way you can do that, though, is you got to make sure you do direct battle damage to your opponent, which isn't hard because if your opponent's monsters are face down, you got the field spell, you can attack your opponent directly. So it's very, very fun to do. The next one I run is 2 Ghostrick Lanterns. Same reason as the others. Your opponent decides to do a direct attack, you can special summon this in defense. It's another way to get your Dolahan onto the field because he's a level 1 as well. So I run 2 Ghostrick Witch. She's another way to be able to flip your opponent's monsters face down if they're in your way, and they're face up. You can just activate her effect real quick, flip them face down, so you can go for that direct attack. For the one-ofs, I run 1 Ghostrick Skeleton. I got people that run a lot of run 2 or 3 of these. I do not see the point, because if you got multiples of him on the field, only one of them effect is going to go off, because you can only activate his effect once per turn, not just this card. It's got to be him, which is, I don't really see the point. You know, I mean, he's honestly just for a stall card to be able to get your opponent to get rid of some of his cards that might, especially if they're his cards that are going to run his combo off, you know. He doesn't know exactly what's banishing, because depending on how many Ghostricks you have on the field, whenever he is flip face up, you can banish the top cards of your opponent's deck face down in the position that they're in. So it makes it so much more consistent. The other one I run is Yukiana. Yukiana is a great card in this deck because if you don't have the field spell yet, set her, your opponent attacks her, the monster that destroyed it has to flip face down permanently until it is removed from the field. So it's a great way to stop your opponent in the process. So it's a lot of fun to do. And if your opponent has monsters that you can't flip face down, that's got a high attack, you activate Ghostrick Ghoul. You target one of your Ghostrick monsters, and it gains the attack of all Ghostrick monsters on the field. As well as, the only problem is he's that monster that you target is the only one that can attack. So it's a lot more fun and a lot more consistent. That's it for all the monsters. Going straight into the spells, I run 2 Ghostrick Mansions. This is one of the field spells I run. This one here is if you got face down monsters on the field, your opponent can attack you directly, and you can attack your opponent directly, as well as whatever damage you would take is halved. So it's very, very helpful. 1 Ghostrick Parade. A lot of people don't run this. I like it, especially with the consistency, because if your opponent does damage to you, yeah, you're going to take the damage, but whenever you take that damage, you're able to activate this card and well, whenever he decides to declare direct attack, you're able to target one monster on the field, or one monster card in your deck, and add it to your hand. So what I'd like to do is I'll activate the effect, and I'll grab Ghostrick Jack Frost, because the second that goes off and he attacks, if the attack goes through, I can special summon this and negate it. So it's a great way to go stay consistent and be able to go through a lot. So get your cards you need quickly, and he's a lot faster to do it. For all the one-ofs, I run one MST, one Nobleman of Crossout. The reason why I run this is because you activate one of their effects, flip it face down. It doesn't get destroyed by battle. You can destroy it by a card effect, which is this one here. One Terraforming to grab your one of your field spells, and one Book of Moon. That's it for the monster spells. For the trap cards, I run 3 Ghostrick Scare. This is a great way to get your opponents to stop doing a lot of things, as well as being able to flip them face down. What you do is you target any number of face down defense position monsters you control, change them to face up defense position, and then count the number of Ghostrick monsters that you flipped, which obviously would be all of them, and that's how many monsters you can flip on your opponent's side of the field. So it's very, very helpful, very consistent. Your easy way to stop attacks and to be able to mess with your opponent all at the same time is Ghostrick Go Around. I run 2. I was going to run 3. I had it at 3 for a while, but I did not like it. I thought it was a little bit of a kind of a dead card in the beginning. So what you do with this card is during the battle phase, you can only activate one of these effects, which is once per turn, which is you can target one Ghostrick monster you control, change that target to face down defense position, and flip one of your opponent's monsters face up. Or if you got a face up or face down defense position Ghostrick monster, you can flip that face up, and then flip your opponent's monster that just attacked into face down defense position. So you're able to stop your opponent with attacks, doing that, and it's consistent, and it's a lot of fun to play. And I love messing with my opponent with this card. I run 2 Ghostrick Vanish. Ghostrick Vanish is just kind of a fail-safe. With Ghostrick Vanish, you're able to reveal one Ghostrick monster from my hand, and this turn, Ghostrick cards that I control and face down defense position monsters that I control cannot be targeted by or be destroyed by card effects. So it's very, very helpful if you need it. So it's a great way to mess with your opponent. For the one-offs, I run 1 Magic Cylinder, just in case I need to stop attacks that I don't have the cards for. 1 Venus Chain, just to stop my opponent's monsters that I need to. 1 Ghostrick Knight. I love this card because this is my way of being able to just put a lock on my opponent's monsters, because if I flip my opponent's monsters and I have either Ghostrick Galacard or Dolahan or whatever on the field, you know, these guys don't flip face down at during your standby main phase 2. So what I do with him is I'll have them on the field and I'll activate this, and all the monsters I flip face down last turn cannot be flipped face up until this card is removed, or I do not control a Ghostrick monster. So it's a great way to stop your opponent. And then the last card I run is 1 Divine Wrath. This card is just a great way to stop your opponent and just to basically wreck him all around. So I try to find all the most annoying cards I could possibly think of in the game to be able to just mess with my opponent. And it's a lot of fun to do. That's for the 40 card main deck. For the extra deck, I run 1 Ghostrick Galacard. I'd love to have more, but I only own 1 right now, which is kind of a bummer. But this card is great because all you need is 2 level 3 monsters, which is a lot of the deck, so you're very be able to pull him off pretty quickly. Also, your opponent cannot target other Ghostrick monsters that are on my side of the field, or face down monsters that I control, as long as I have him face up on the field. Also, I can detach from him and target 1 set card on my opponent's side of the field and destroy it. So that's very, very helpful. I run 2 Ghostrick Dolahans. The reason why I run 2 is because he's the main card I go into in this deck. Because with him, you can just wreck your opponent, because he gets so mad when it comes to his effect. Because if I have a monster on the field, like especially him, because he gains 200 for every Ghostrick card on the field, which could be spells, traps, monsters, whatever, and he can go up pretty high, you know, and your opponent's got something good that'll be able to destroy it. Well, for a quick effect, you can activate his effect during a battles phase or whatever, and have that monster's effect attack. So he'll go down to like 1250, and you can't run him over. It's great to do, and it's a lot of fun. And then the last one I run is Ghostrick Succubus. Well, sorry, So Cute Boss in the United States. It's Succubus in Japan. But I don't really like running this card very often. It's only here if I need it. But I'd like to get a Fortune Tomb for this deck because it'd be a lot more consistent. But with this card here, whenever it you can target a card on the field, destroy it, or a monster on the field, you can destroy it, and that monster card zone cannot be used until this card is removed from the field. So it kind of stops your opponent a little bit, but that's really all it does. It's not very helpful. Also, whenever any of these are sent to the graveyard, you can add a Ghostrick monster from your graveyard and add it back to your hand or back to the edge of your deck, depending on what you grab. So if these two get destroyed at once, you can grab both of them again, because you can target him with him, and then target him with him. So, you can send these back to the graveyard and do it again next turn, or grab a Alucard or whatever, grab a Mary, it don't matter. So this deck is a lot of consistency, and it's a lot of fun to play. Especially if you're one of those people that, like me, that love to wreck your opponent and just troll the hell out of them and just piss them off. This is the best deck to do it with, at least in my opinion, and it's a lot of fun to play. So. And honestly, it's not that expensive. The most expensive card in the deck is Ghostrick Alucard. He's only going for like 15 to 18 bucks. The rest of them are going for pennies on a dollar. So it's a lot of fun to play. And if you guys got any other suggestions or anything like that, or any decks you want to see, please feel free to comment me. And if I'm able to build the deck for you, I will definitely do that. Give me a call back or leave a comment. Tell me what you guys think. Subscribe. And this is TG Graphics signing out. Have a good day.